Hey there, welcome to my farm and to my kitchen. My name is Rachel Ballard, and this is the channel where I teach you the most delicious, easy, comfort food recipes so that you can cook more from scratch, more in your own kitchen, and ditch some of those boxed and processed foods that we eat all too often. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, make sure to hit that subscribe button right below this video and the bell next to it so that you don't miss a video every time one's uploaded. What's on the menu for today? We are going to be tackling a roast chicken. Probably one of the easiest things, and everybody thinks it's so hard. So let's get started. I'll show you my simple tips and tricks and you'll be a master in no time. Let's roast this chicken. Now, what I have here is a 6.5 pound chicken, whole chicken. And we're not gonna have to cut like crazy on this. You're gonna be really surprised how simple this is to do. But the trick is to get everything ready before you start touching your chicken. So I have my butter that we're gonna put on, our seasonings are over here. I have a half sheet pan, because this is a big chicken. Most of them are gonna be in the 3 to 4 pound range. Mine just happens to be huge. I have 5 balls of aluminum foil, about the size of a baseball, and those are going to keep our chicken up off of the tray so that the heat can get underneath it, and when the heat can get underneath it, cooks more evenly and it stays crispy. So really good things to have done. I also have my oven preheated to 425. We're going to start this really high and hot. We're going to get the skin really crispy, and then we're going to turn the oven down just for a little bit and get it cooked the rest of the way through. So this is not hard, I promise you. The trick is that people are gonna say, why don't you have on gloves? You don't need to wear gloves to work with a chicken. You just need to have good common sense about contamination, washing your hands well. Whatever touches the chicken has to be washed. Wash your countertops in hot soapy water, wash your knives, you'll be fine, okay? We don't need to wear gloves. This is not surgery. All right, so I have my chicken here, and I wanna show you exactly what yours is gonna look like when it comes, so that I didn't do anything but take this out of the bag so that you would know what to expect. First thing you have to do is check it to see if it's got a giblet bag inside. You've seen the videos of people like pull out, they cook it, and they pull out the giblets that were left inside it. Just check the cavity to see if they're in there. So one end is the tail end, and this, you can see the legs are down here, right? Let me make sure you can see. The legs are here. So this is the tail, the back legs. So this is the tail end, this is where the cavity is, and there's a bag inside here. I'm not trying to gross you out, I just want you to know it's there, okay? That's just got the inner parts of the chicken. Sometimes there'll be a neck in there, that sort of thing. And we are gonna use the bones from this to make our own homemade chicken stock. So sometimes it's worth it to save that bag of giblets and throw it in and have it cooked down in your chicken stock if you want to for extra flavor. But this is the tail end and this is the neck. Here's your wings up here, okay? I'm sorry if I'm grossing you out, I hope not. But I wanna show you what we're gonna do. We are going to take, this is the breast meat on this side. We're gonna take the backbone out of this. But before we do that, the first thing I wanna do is dry it off because it's pretty wet. And don't worry, I will clean all this up when we get done. It'll be all nicely sanitized and fixed by the time we're finished here. So, okay, so we're gonna pat this off a little bit to start. We will pat it off again because a dry chicken is a crispy chicken. So if you're wanting a crispy skin, I don't like soggy skin. If you want that nice crispy skin, you have to dry the skin off. So I am going to start just like that. It helps me hold on to it a little bit better. But we're gonna set this little guy up on his butt. There he is. Now I'm left-handed, so I'm gonna move my camera so that you can watch me do this from my side and see everything really clearly. So give me just a second. The spine section. So right here, we're just gonna cut this out. Now this is when you need a decently good knife. If you're using, watch that. You should not have too much trouble getting through this. Now my cutting board's gonna wanna spin on me here just a little bit, but once you get down here to the back, you can almost pull it out. I'm gonna lay mine down just a little bit and we're gonna cut all the way through. If you've got a cheap knife, you're gonna be like saying bad words about me when you get to here. This is a Wusthof. This is my Santoku knife. It was about $60 for this one knife. So I promise you, if you've bought knives at Walmart or whatever, and you think you have a good knife, let me assure you that you do not. You need something better than that. Look at that. Okay, there's the back out, and I'm gonna put it in my bowl over here. And now we've got our nice little floppy chicken. And I am going to turn him over. Yay, we're gonna turn him over. Everything's wet and slippery. You got to be super careful. And I'm going to trim away. We've got some extra fat back here. I'm going to trim some of this off. Just don't need it on there. And then I'm going to show you how to season it and get it ready for the oven. So give me just a second, get my hands washed up, get to the next step. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna just pat this dry, again, with paper towels. You'll think you had it dry the first time, but it's just tricky. So pat it off really, really well. And I want to show you a trick. This is called a spatchcocked chicken, which means it's flat. So what we did, after we took that backbone out, everything kind of gets all floppy and loose on us. I want you to put your hands right here in the middle of the back, and I want you to push. You'll hear it crack. Mine kind of cracked. This guy's big. Well, that was a gross sound. I hope you couldn't hear that from over there. Okay, so he's nice and flat, and you'll hear that kind of crack in the middle. I'm sorry, there's just no way to not be gross doing this. But we got that part. Pat him off. Now, in this bowl, I have a little bit of butter, salt, and pepper. I'm keeping this really simple. If you want to do other things, I better use a spatula. If you want to use garlic here, if you want to lay seasonings underneath it, if you want to put onions and lemon and all of those things, you can. This is just a starting place, the absolute most basic version of a roast chicken. I have a couple tablespoons, well, no, a couple teaspoons, I guess, of kosher salt in here. You've got to salt this stuff. You've got to. And it always is going to take more than you think it will. So I'm just mushing my butter. Technically, this is called a compound butter, not a mushed butter. But butter, salt, and pepper. And I'm just kind of combining that. Fresh herbs, you can absolutely use those. You just want to make sure that they stay under the skin and you don't put them on top of your chicken because they will burn in the oven. So you can use dried ones here if you'd like. Sometimes I think that's better when you're cooking under really high heat, just to do that if you prefer. But butter's ready to go. Now, what we got to do is get this under the skin because butter burns too. So what you do is you take your hands and you just kind of loosen that skin all the way up under both sides of the breast meat. I'm a breast meat eater. That's just kind of what I'm a white meat eater. So that's what I like. But if you're dark meat, you can loosen under the thighs with your thumb like this. Loosen the other side up. And that skin's already loose on those thighs to begin with. But take your butter. Now all this is going to get washed when we get done. Remember, this is, and then you smear it. Push it with your hands. Push it out. And that will get the butter up under the skin really, really well. So push it with your hands and it'll push, push. You can spread it really, really far like that. You can do this to a turkey too. Works really, really well. And the reason we keep it under the skin, of course, obviously, to keep it from burning, but also to get that seasoning where it needs to go. I'm gonna work a little bit under the thigh and the leg. Put as much as you want under there. It'll be all right. So I'm concentrating mine on the breast meat area because that's the part I'm gonna eat. So now, I'm gonna again take my gross little paper towels here and I'm just gonna pat this some more to make sure it's totally dry, totally dry. Okay, and I'm gonna show you, we're gonna put it up on the aluminum foil balls now. So this is gonna, again, allow that heat to circulate underneath your chicken. And it takes a couple minutes to get it on here, especially when you got a big guy like this. So what I do is put the middle ball under the breast and then watch them all roll away. This will take me a minute. All right, so once you've got him all propped up, if your guys are not as big as this one, you should be able to get this with 5. I may have to add some foil. I want you to watch. I'll be back in a minute. This is ready for the oven. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it in at 425 for 20 minutes. And what that's gonna do is allow that skin to start to get really nice and crispy. Then we're gonna turn the oven down to 400 and roast it until a meat thermometer inserted in the thigh meat comes out about 165 or until the juices are clear. And that's gonna take another 30 to 35 minutes if you have a 3 to 4 pound chicken. I have the Hulk, so probably another, it may take 45 to 50 minutes, but most of the time an average size chicken is gonna cook for you in about an hour. So I'll put this in the oven and I will be back to show you what it looks like when we're all finished. My chicken roasted for a total of 55 minutes. And so on that second roast, we only needed about 30 minutes to get it to temperature. So it went great, even though it was a large chicken. I wanted to tell you, if you don't have an oven thermometer, this is the type I use, but one end goes into your meat and then this part stays outside your oven. So they will save you all the guessing about is it done, cutting it open, all the juices running out. So if you don't have one of these, I will leave you a link in the description box to Amazon so you can find one that's similar. Now, look at this. I was hoping I could get you to hear it. Can you hear that? That's crispy skin and comes from all that drying. So I'm gonna get a little slice off here. Before I do, don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't done that, you can do that right here. And if you wanna watch another video, you can do that right over here. Thanks so much for being with me. See you again soon. Have a great day.